Namaste, everyone. Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this. Good Lord, what day is it? Monday. Monday. The days are already starting to blend together. Monday here in Lake Creek, Idaho, right outside of Sun Valley, Idaho. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. I have you plugged into the car speaker, car microphone, car something something. So if you can't hear me, give me a thumbs down or say, hey, can't hear you. Speak up. Turn the thing off. Let's do this again. But I'm charging the phone as we're talking right now. So first night, had my first night camp set up at Lake Creek. Beautiful, beautiful. So basically Lake Creek is about 2 miles. Nice, Adriana, thank you. Is about 2 miles outside of Sun Valley. And then the path of Lake Creek goes for about 3.5, 4 miles. And it's in the middle of nowhere. It's beautiful. I was doing my inner practice last night, my spiritual practice last night, and I just saw this coyote that was super jacked up. He just kept yipping and yapping and yipping and yapping for like 25 minutes. I don't know what he was looking at or worked up about, but he was just kind of milling around the countryside. But where I am, dead quiet. And luckily, 10 minutes after I set up my tent, it started to rain. And then it rained on and off. Diane, I'm going to stay all night long. But because I set up my tent properly, no water, no rain got into the tent. Yes! Woo! Super cold. Super cold. It was probably 30, 35 degrees maximum in the evening. But I bought a sleeping bag that's good for 20 degrees. So I had that 10, 15 degree buffer. Super grateful for that. But because I don't have any fat on my hips and all of my pants are now falling off of me because over the past 3 months I've been losing weight, nothing fits me anymore. Even with the belt on, it doesn't fit me because the belt is too big. I have no fat on my hips, so when I'm sleeping on my side, my hips are pushing into my mattress, the little teeny tiny mattress, and then pushing into the ground. So it wasn't the most restful or most comfortable sleep period ever. I slept in a little bit today, but overall, good experience. I got up nice and early, or, relatively early. Made it to a local coffee shop. Got a picture of it. It's called Maud's. And some of you may remember the famous sitcom from the 1970s, Maud. So I don't know if it's after that or not, but cool place. Everyone's a hipster. Everyone's got tattoos, colored hair, piercings, what have you. But something I'm really impressed with this area, so you have Ketchum, Alif, I'm going to say Ketchum, which is the name of the town, and within that teeny tiny town is a tinier town called Sun Valley. So Ketchum has about 3,000 people, and then in the center, Sun Valley has about 1,400 people. But the average age of this area is 53 years old. 5'3" is the average age of the area. And oddly enough, pretty much everyone I've seen today is athletic, youthful. Yeah, I'd say probably the average age I saw of the people today, 45 degrees. 45 degrees. 45 years old. 45 degree, that'd be a weird looking person, wouldn't it? But they're like healthy, they're vigorous. There's people biking all over the place. I parked in this historical site in the area, and right across this little walking path, which somebody's biking right in front of me now. There is a stream, a beautiful stream. So I have a thing with streams and creeks because it's always constantly moving energy, moving energy, moving energy, moving energy, moving energy. Lady, I'm in Namaste. Has Wi-Fi. Aw, snap. So I do not have Wi-Fi in my campsite. It's hit or miss. But if I drive 2 minutes outside of my campsite, I pretty much have Wi-Fi. So right now I may be 7 minutes from my campsite because I'm kind of in town right now. But when I grew up in Berlin, Massachusetts, my father had 4 acres of land and a big house. And at the end of the property was a stream. Actually, the stream started at the beginning of our property, went through the whole property, and then the stream went through other people's properties. And I always loved looking at the stream. I used to stare at the stream. I would just sit and bliss out. I didn't know how to meditate then, completely out of my area of expertise. I started to meditate at 19 with transcendental meditation. But so after I had my coffee, after I went to the bathroom, because there's no place at my campsite to go to the bathroom, wink, wink, hint, hint, I went back to my campsite, did my Arhatic yoga practice, and it was super blissful. The challenge was it's windy and it's cold and cloudy then. Not now, it's like beautiful out. So it was a great opportunity of practicing I'm not the body, I'm not the body, I'm not the body, right? So I'm holding up my hands are freezing, and then because of the dryness in the air, or the lack of moisture in the air, my hands are super, super dry, but I was like, not the body, I'm not the body, I'm not the body, and they were kind of like bleeding at different points. So I got this little Vaseline, and Denise, I'm gonna say, I do not like lotions or oils on my hands. I've been that way my entire life. But this says unscented, which is a plus. I don't like to smell the things that are on my hands. And then without feeling greasy. So I put it on, and about 5 minutes later, I couldn't feel any lotion on my hands, but my hands were more moisturized. So that's a plus. But logistically, this has been quite the challenge of finding out, okay, where am I going to go to the bathroom? I'm still working with clients, so where can I get Wi-Fi reception so I can heal them? When am I going to be leaving? How long does it take me to pack up? How long does it take me to drive from point A to point B so I can be at my next place set up before it gets dark or before it rains? So it's quite fascinating because doing this practice is like a form of synthesis. So the form of yoga that I've been practicing for 17 years that was created by Grandmaster Chogo Koksui is called Arhatic yoga. Arhat is a Buddhist term for saint. So how does one become a saint? It's like reverse engineering. And Arhatic yoga is known as the yoga of synthesis and the synthesis of yoga. So basically taking all the essential practices, distilling them down, and then practicing that. So removing the dogma, removing the superstition. It's like, why do we do this breathing technique over other breathing techniques? Why do we do it in this order? Why do we do physical exercises in this order versus another order? Why do we do these meditations? Why do we do them when we do them, right? So it's creating a system to properly, rapidly, and safely evolve yourself as a soul. And the best way of looking at synthesis is like a pilot. So a pilot is sitting in the cockpit, and behind them there's 150 passengers waiting to go from point A to point B. That's it. They don't need to know anything about turbulence. They don't need to know anything about weather patterns. They don't need to know anything about a headwind, tailwind. They don't need to know anything about altitude. Nothing. All they need to know is, am I going to arrive to my destination safely and on time? That's it. But the pilot is synthesizing many, many, many different instruments and tools to make that experience smooth and timely for the people that are behind the co-pilot or cockpit. So you have the pilot, co-pilot, cockpit, and then the people behind them. So doing this practice of going from where I am in Sun Valley, Idaho, and going 3,000 plus miles is I'm having to calculate so many different things. I'm having to be aware of how long it takes me to drive, the speed that I'm driving, the weather that I'm going through, the weather that's going to be when I get to my end destination, staying within a budget because I have a budget for this. It's not footloose and fancy free. Where's their Wi-Fi? Where is there most likely not going to be Wi-Fi? Keeping my phone charged, making sure I follow up with clients, making sure I heal clients at the time that I'm scheduled to heal them. So there's all these different things that I'm having to synthesize in order for it to be a fun, light, enjoyable experience for myself and also for the people that I serve. So it's been quite the experience having my sprays taken care of, my spray bottles, making sure I'm doing my spiritual practice. When and where am I doing my spiritual practice? Diane's bringing the heat. Diane, thanks a lot for your all your likes and shares and social media love. I appreciate you. So I got about 28 more days of this. But it's keeping me sharp, it's keeping me on point, it's keeping my mind engaged. Man, this whole time I thought I was going to be vacation. I thought this was going to be, put my feet up, you know? So I just wanted to jump on real quick with you guys. I have some work that I have to do with clients, my mentor, and it's funny, Denise was saying in the video that we posted on the campsite, was that a salt bowl that I saw? Of course, I'm always prepared, right? That's the point, always being prepared. Right, so I have my little water, I got my salt in it, and then when I need to do a distant healing or when I need to log on and connect with a client and we do coaching and then healing, I got to make that happen. So it's funny because I think to myself, I go, Master Choa, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, the founder of modern pranic healing or Arhatic yoga, had 13 different businesses, and then he was developing an energy healing modality from scratch. He was developing a yoga system from scratch. He was a multi-millionaire, and he was able to manage all of his businesses and manage a global organization, a global healing and spiritual organization, all with a flip phone. Working with different people in different time zones in over 25 countries at the time. When Grandmaster Choa Koksui left his body, pranic healing was in 60 countries around the world, and now pranic healing is practiced in over 90 countries around the world. So obviously, the teacher did his work, right? Yeah, lady, get it, girl. So it's like whenever we think about ourselves and we're like, God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have the capacity or the capability or the resources. I don't know if I can make it happen. That's a false limiting belief. If you are one with God and one with all, through Christ, all things are possible through Christ who strengthens me, right? Christ meaning the energy of the higher soul and the energy of the great, great teachers. You might not be a Christian, you might be a Christian, you might be a Buddhist, you might be Hindu, you might be agnostic, you might be atheist, which is funny because in Grandmaster Choa Koksui's early 20s, late teens and early 20s, he was an atheist because he got religion shoved down his throat for so long that he started to reject it. Not interested. Leave me be. Don't bother me. I just want to live in the world and of the world, right? But then, through an awakening, Grandmaster Choa Koksui started to validate spiritual teachings, spiritual technologies. The existence of God became self-evident in his realization, right? But people have to get to that point. When you shove anything down anyone's throat, they're not open and receptive. All right, everyone get their mind out of the gutter. All right, get your minds out of the gutter. Come on, this is a spiritual broadcast. But the best thing I can recommend if you're looking to influence your friends to get on the spiritual path, your intimate partner, your friends, your family members, whomever, right? Anyone that you want to inspire, coworkers, employees, employers, whatever, is be a product of the product. Be an example. You might be a Christian Long. Redneck, that's funny. You're ridiculous. Simplicity and synthesis. Mine is in the I am. Exactly. So keep this in mind. All great spiritual teachers are beyond religion. All great spiritual teachers are beyond religion. Do you think Lord Jesus was a Christian? Hello? A Christian means follower of Christ. But do you think Lord Jesus was a Christian? Do you think Muhammad was a Muslim? Right? Do you think Lord Krishna was a Hindu? No. All of these great teachers were the I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. Now you might be saying, well, I don't have that experience. So this is all mental knowledge. This is all, I have no frame of reference. I don't know what that means. Okay, fair enough. So practice. Find a qualified teacher who you know, like, and trust. Follow this person, quote unquote, for a period of time. And then if you start producing success with that person, then continue following that person. Meaning, okay, I want to have inner peace, happiness, and joy. I'm not experiencing it in my life right now. Let me find somebody who I think embodies inner peace, happiness, and joy. Okay, I start working with this person. They tell me do this, I do this, and I experience what they said I'm going to experience. Okay, so you're building trust with that person. Now, if they tell you, okay, do this, and you don't experience that, and they don't explain why that may be the case, then that's not a person that you would want to continue working with, right? It's kind of like if you're in a relationship with someone, you're like, hey, I want to be in a relationship that's healthy, harmonious, happy, and wholesome. I want to be in that kind of relationship. Okay, so then you get involved in that kind of relationship and you realize you're not experiencing any of those positive qualities. Do you stay in that relationship? No. But if you're in that relationship and you experience healthiness, happiness, wholesomeness, harmony, and then 6 months later something happens, then you can go, wait a minute, what's the factor? Everything was beautiful for 6 months. What happened? Then you start practicing discernment. So again, people need to practice discernment on the spiritual path. You don't need to buy everything all at once, and you don't need to be cynical about everything all at once. You need to take the middle path. You need to go, okay, I want to have inner peace, happiness, and joy. This person looks like they can help me with that. Okay, they're helping me. It's not 100% of the time, but I'm experiencing more inner peace, happiness, and joy. I'm going to keep following. But you keep following with a discerning mind. You keep asking questions. You keep asking questions. You keep asking questions. You keep asking questions, right? In the beginning of every single class within Pranic healing and Arhatic yoga, the question is, there's a slide that says, use intelligent evaluation, experiment, and make your own conclusion. That's it. So I wanted to experiment what it would be like to travel 3,600 miles over a 31-day period in parts of the country that I've never really been to, and or I want to revisit. And that's it. And so I'm getting feedback as I go along. Wow, I did that. That was stupid. Oh, I did that. That was a good idea. Hey, I didn't even think about it from that point of view, right? So it's helping me be more flexible, more adaptable, more malleable, instead of so rigid. You know where rigidity comes from? Here. The throat chakra. So when someone's cup is full to the brim and they're unwilling, unable to bring in more knowledge, they're like, nope, this is how it is, period, end of story, not interested, then guess what? All learning stops, all growth stops, all moving forward stops, because you think you have all the answers, right? You think you have all the answers. So what do you have to do? Empty your cup. By the way, as a side note for some of you, there's a teacher in the Hindu faith called Lord Hanuman. Hanuman means broken jaw. Broken jaw. Jaw connected to the throat. Most of our pride is in the throat chakra. So if you want to practice humility, you have to go, you know what? I don't have all the answers right now. I thought I did, but if I look at the results I'm experiencing in my life, they are not what I want. So I don't know something, I don't see something clearly, there's a blind spot, so I need to go something outside of myself. So for instance, somebody says, I want to lose weight. Andrew, namaste. I want to lose weight. And then that person who wants to lose weight meets with someone who is athletic and who has trained other people to be athletic. They sit down, they write out your meal plan, they write out your exercise routine, right? And then you go, you know what? Nah, I don't think it's going to work. This person doesn't get me. My situation is special. I'm special. So your cup is full. And guess what? you don't get the result that you seek, which is having a leaner, fitter, healthier body. And that's not just with fitness, that's with relationships, that's with finances, that's with whatever. So if there is someone who has produced greater results in that area of your life than you have, you need to close your fat mouth, right? I'm speaking to myself as well. And you need to be still, be aware, be humble, and follow simple instructions. Denise asked me, do I have a travel journal? Not really, no. I have a notebook that I'm making notes in, but not just about my journal. It's about, or my experiences, but it's about other things as well. So I guess it's an all-in-one journal, right? Like you can have a separate dream journal, you can have a separate travel journal, you can have a separate business journal. I kind of just have a journal where I take notes about a lot of different things. Okay? So this is why it's so important to be humble, 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 to be humble. What is humility? Knowing what you're good at and knowing what you're not good at. So if you know you're not good at fitness, and then you meet someone who's good at fitness, you need to humble yourself to their area of expertise, right? If someone wants to become a professional energy healer, they should be talking to someone who's a professional energy healer, humble themselves, and then follow the simple instructions. If you want to become a millionaire, talk to someone who's a millionaire, humble yourself, and follow the simple instructions. Now, does that mean you don't practice discernment? No, of course not. You have to understand where the person is coming from. You have to understand why they're asking you to do what they're asking you to do. But you can't question every single thing and then not take any action, because then what? You don't get any feedback. This meal plan won't work for me, throwing it out. This exercise routine won't work for me, throwing it out. This nutrition supplementation program won't work for me, throw it out. But wait a minute. You haven't tried any of the meal plans, you haven't tried any of the exercise program, and you haven't tried any of the supplements. So what are you talking about? You're out of your mind. You're not thinking clearly. You're not practicing discernment. You're not experimenting and making your own conclusion. Hello? Right? So again, if the person has the result that you seek, listen to them. Humble yourself. One of my challenges in my life is I have a tendency to do things that there are not a lot of people that I can model. There's not a lot of professional energy healers that I can model in the world, or could have modeled in the world. And trust me, I did my best to find them. There are not a lot of people that want the kind of relationship I want with the kind of energy that I have. So it's difficult to find a model to emulate. There's not a lot of people that have done this kind of road trip in this kind of way for this kind of purpose. So it's difficult for me to find that. But if somebody says, hey, I've done something pretty similar to what you're trying to do, give me a call, send me an email, let's get onto Zoom or FaceTime or Skype or whatever. I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. I'm all about it. I get out my little notebook and my pen, which I'm really proud of my son for that, because every week him and I meet for an hour and we mastermind to help him have a great life. And he's putting a lot of his pride off to the side. And he's like, huh, Dad, I never thought about it like that. Wow, I didn't realize that. Wow, that's 5 years into the future. Didn't even come into my awareness. So he's humbling himself. He's applying what we're going over. And then that's going to improve the quality of his life when he's in his mid-20s, mid-30s, mid-40s, mid-50s. Right? So humility is, woo! There's a lot of apple cider vinegar. Humility is super important. I bought 2 avocados. Hey, if you guys can help me out with this, I'm humbling myself. I have a bad track record of picking out the right avocados. I have a bad track record of picking out the right avocados. I bought not 1, but 2 avocados today, and both of them were bad. And I don't know what's up. They weren't extra squishy, but I cut them both open, and they were like super sour. Not interested. Denise says, what a great dad you are. Thank you, but It's been a long time coming. Adriana says you're a pioneer. It's been a long time coming. Master Cho was a pioneer. Master Cho, to be a pioneer, a true pioneer, you have to be Ray 3. I'm sorry, Ray 1. Ray 1. The ray of power and will. I'm not a natural Ray 1. So I kind of like take Master Cho's teachings and follow it to the best of my abilities. My ray is Ray 3, which is the ray of active intelligence. So achieving your target using the least amount of resources in the quickest time possible. That's my ninja power. I wasn't always a great dad. I wasn't always a good dad. I wasn't always a present dad. I screwed up with my son for a decade because of my own insecurities, weaknesses, blind spots, you name it. But when you suffer enough, when you're on your knees enough times, when you've been beaten down by the lords of karma, you're like, all right, I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to move forward. And to let you know, it doesn't have to be like that. Your life doesn't have to be destroyed from the top down in order for you to change, in order for you to move forward. But that's what happens with most people who are prideful and most people who have addictions. They have to hit rock bottom before they change, before they transform, before they move forward. I don't recommend that. It's a very difficult life to live. But if you can go with awareness, with humility, go, I don't want to hit rock bottom. These areas of my life are weak. Who do I know, or who can I find out who has the answers to help me develop more awareness and then develop those areas in my life? And then listen to that person or persons and follow the simple instructions. Have I said that enough already? Oh, it's not just apple cider vinegar, it's also an electrolyte. Woo! That'll pucker you up real nice. So anyways, okay, your inspiration for others. Thanks, Adriana. Yeah, I've always, since I was 15 years old, I've wanted to be an inspiration for other people. And I think I set myself up for failure in the beginning of saying, I don't think I've shared this at all on the stream before. When I was 15 years old, I used to do things that would make me extremely uncomfortable, physically uncomfortable, emotionally uncomfortable. And my brother, my oldest brother, would ask me, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And I created a program, not proud of it, shouldn't have done it. I didn't know any better at the time, so I have to practice self-forgiveness. As I said, people are not going to listen to me unless I've suffered tremendously. Think about that as a program as a teenager. People will not listen to me unless I've suffered tremendously. And then that program lasted for almost 25 years. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend moving in that direction, right? So with that being said, you don't need to suffer tremendously to live a great life, to move your life forward, and to inspire other people. Okay? So I hope that helps. Lady says, oh man, I had something like that. Yeah, it's a program. It's a program that we create using our big throat chakras. We create form, and then we stuff that form with lots and lots and lots of emotion, and then it attracts like people, like circumstances, like events to validate the energy. That's the law of attraction. But what would it look like if you created beautiful thought forms, stuffed them with beautiful emotions over a prolonged period of time, and then it attracted like people, like circumstances, and like events? What would that look like? Depressed people become more depressed. Angry people become more angry. Fearful people become more fearful. Joyful people become more joyful. Fulfilled people become more fulfilled. Enlightened people expand and become more aware of their true nature. Love you too, Letty. So be careful what you generate in that mind of yours. Be careful what words come out of your mouth, and be careful what actions you take, because you're planting seeds moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. Denise says that would be an amazing life. Exactly. And when does that amazing life start? Drum roll, please. I can't really do it well. Right now. Tina, I'm a namaste. Right now. Do you guys hear what I just said? Your amazing life starts now. It's not in a year. It's not in 6 months. It's not in a month. It's not when your kids are going back to school. It's not when COVID is over. It's not when you have $1 million in the bank. It's not when you're in the best relationship. It's not when you're out of a bad relationship. It's right now, 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 now. I am not going to be any more fulfilled going to another city in my travels than I am right now. So if I'm not happy in this moment, you ready for the secret? I'm not going to be happy when I'm in another city. I'm not going to be happy when I'm in another relationship. I'm not going to be happy when I'm in another whatever, another $100,000 in my bank account. Do you guys get that? It's now. It's now, now, now. There is no past, present, or future. There is only... I'll give you an example. So last night, I was doing my inner work, and my body was exhausted. It was exhausted for many different reasons. That drink, by the way, that I had at the restaurant, that little fancy drink, I've never spent so much money in lunch in my entire years. 40 years on this planet, I've never spent so much money on lunch. You would be embarrassed for me if I told you how much I spent on lunch yesterday. But that's neither here nor there. So my body was exhausted at the end of the night, but I made a commitment to do my spiritual practice because I'm on point, I'm one-pointed, I'm going to make it happen. And I was just like exhausted. I could barely, raise my hand. I could barely do the technique that I've been taught. But then I was like, wait a minute. Am I going to be miserable in this moment while I'm doing my practice, or am I going to use my will to shift my thoughts, my speech, and my activity? And I said, screw it, let's do it. So I'm like, vitality, full of vitality, mental vitality, emotional vitality, physical vitality. And guess what? By the end of the practice, which was like an hour and a half in the car, it was too cold to do it outside. I was great. I was like, yeah. I was like, sweet. All right, I shifted it. But I could have just said, forget it. And then guess what? Beating myself up. Should have done my practice, didn't do my practice, not a good disciple, not a good energy healer. I'm letting myself down. I'm letting my clients down. I'm letting the teacher down. Woe is me, right? Self-pity is stupid. There is no purpose in self-pity. It keeps you stuck. It doesn't allow you to move forward. It's like having your feet in cement. So stop pitying yourself. If you screw up, forgive yourself and move forward. If you hurt another person, forgive yourself and forgive them and move forward. If another person hurts you, forgive yourself and forgive them and move forward. My God, he's so preachy today. What is he doing in the mountains? This stream is really nice, by the way. Oh, I told you some of these streams are going to be 5 minutes. Some of these streams are going to be 2 hours. Oh, that's good. That was me too last night. I was so tired and did the practice anyways. Glad I did. See, exactly. So when you do it, when you don't feel like doing it, that's a function of what? Divine will. You're telling your mental body, hey, mental body, get it together. Hey, emotional body, get it together. Hey, physical body, get it together. I am the soul. I'm the big boss. I'm will. I'm power. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Come on, come on, come on. That's why, you ready? When you don't feel like doing something, that's your window. When you don't feel like doing something, that's your window. I don't feel like working out. If you give in, you lost an opportunity for growth. I don't feel like meditating. You lost your opportunity for growth. And you know what's funny? Listen to this. You're losing both sides of it. If you don't work out, you lose the willpower that you could develop, and you lose having a healthier body. If you don't meditate, you lose out at developing the will power, right? And then you lose out on illuminating the soul and having more inner peace. So you're losing out twice when you're not practicing your will. I haven't seen anyone else go on this path. Denise says, you're meant to say what you're saying for a reason and a purpose. Good point. I'm just going with it. I'm flowing with it. Pearl's right there. What's up, Pearls of Wisdom? I like how Denise and Letty are taking turns of commenting. Letty says, yep, like that yoga pose you don't like. It's one that you need the most. There you go. Somebody's like, goes into the gym. I don't like legs. I don't like working out legs. That's what you need to do. Cardio. I don't want to do cardio. I want to do just strength training. That's what you need to do. I want to do only cardio and I don't want to do strength training. Then you need to do strength training. Life isn't about doing what feels good all the time. Raise of hands. Hello, raise of hands. How many of you have lived a higher quality of life by going with your emotions? I rest my case. If going with how you feel or don't feel was that good, everyone would be way more successful and way more fulfilled than they currently are. It's not about doing what feels good or not doing what doesn't feel good. It's about doing the right thing. What's the right thing to do? Exercise, meditation practice, good nutrition, being a kind person, using your will to activate your heart to be more loving, to be more generous, to be more sweet. Right? Some of us don't want to be kind. Some of us don't want to be sweet. Like, do I really have to be sweet right now? That's why you have to activate your will. All right, I will myself to be more loving. Okay. I will myself to activate my heart. I will myself to be kinder. Okay. Got it. You can't live your life based on how you feel. You have to live your life based on the virtues. You have to live your life based on doing the right thing. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. So, that being said, I'm going to let you go. Hopefully you got some nuggets. If you did, please feel free to share this on your personal Facebook or professional Facebook or LinkedIn or Snapchat. Here, I'll do a... There you go. Now you can put that on Snapchat. What's he doing? And I may stumble over to that creek. The water's moving pretty fast up in this. Mother. All right. Lots of light, love, and power from God and my teacher, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, into each and every one of your lives. Be well. Be kind to yourself and others. Stop operating on how you feel and start operating on doing it from the right perspective. Megan, namaste. Do it because it's right. Do it because it's right. Do it because it's right. You know why you can't do things based on how you feel? You ready? Because your feelings do this. The right thing doesn't change. So, love you guys very much. For those of you who need healing, you know where to find me. ChristianRlong.com. Ooh, someone else is coming to the creek. I don't know where they're going. I think they're going to use the picnic table. I wonder if I should go on this walking trail. Andrew keeps logging in and out. You guys are ridiculous. Love you guys very much. I will talk to you on the Flippity McFlipperson. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.